Oh, I'm gonna try something new today. Buenos dias, buenas tardes,
Oh,
Carolina Gomez. How are you
buenos
today?
días.
Buenos dias. Yeah. Good to have you on the red couch, Carolina. How are you?
Angela, thanks for asking. I'm great. It's an honor to be here. I'm a fan of your work, and I was really looking forward to be here, talking about so many important things for our careers.
Thank you, Carolina. So you and I, we met about a few times already. I would say at least four times now on Ed Cohen's TV talk. We have similar topics that, we're both interested in and working in. And we will discover that during the course of this interview. Maybe you could start with a fun fact about you that people won't be able to read on the internet.
Okay, one thing I never told my students, I think they won't find this, is that when I was a kid, I really loved piano.
Mm.
Playing the piano was a dream. And my auntie that lived nearby my home, she offered to teach me lessons. So I was taking these lessons with her. And when I went back home, as I we couldn't afford a piano, I used to have a paper with the keyboard. I draw the keyboard of the piano in a paper. So I will play on this paper, every day. I got back to school and I would go to the paper and play my piano there and imagine I was playing. And I think my parents, they were, tired of seeing me just singing alone with a piece of paper. And they were like, okay, let's buy a small keyboard for this girl. They finally did it. And then I could practice my piano lessons at home. It was so good. I used to play to my dad his favorite songs on the piano. So that's a good memory I have of childhood.
Nice. And is there a correlation between language learning and piano learning?
So, Angela, that's a very interesting question because I think, first of all, necessity is matter of creativity.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
Yeah.
And creativity and open-mindedness is so important when we are in a process of learning a new language. There's so many things that we face when learning not only the language, but the culture, and we really need to be open to this and also to adapt, right? So the learning process will flow. I think it really helped me, throughout my career to apply this, uh, learning English and other languages too.
Mm. I just have a sense that music and language are about pattern recognition. And probably that's why a lot of highly intelligent people, they also play an instrument usually.
Their
Maybe,
languages.
and are very good at learning languages. So we alluded to your professional background already a little bit. Your language instructor um, specialized on the English language, if I'm not mistaken. So, Carolina, tell us a bit more about how you got to, where you are today and also why you decided to do what you're doing. What's your background?
So one of my other dreams besides playing the piano was that I wanted to speak in English. When I was a kid, I used to listen to these songs on the radio. I don't know if you remember this Roxette. It was very popular in the 90s.
Hmm.
And we used to get together with my cousins, listen to it, write down the lyrics as we listen to them. And oh gosh, it was horrible because we didn't know actually English. But I had this dream in my heart that I wanted to learn. I wanted to also visit the United States. That
Yeah.
was two things that were very strong to me. And I volunteered on my 20s to go on a mission. Usually, these missions that I volunteered to do were sending the people to nearby countries. So people will go to Brazil, Paraguay, Argentina. But for my surprise, when my envelope came to me and I opened the envelope to see where was my destination, there I saw United States of America. So I was in this amazing, dream that was coming true. I moved to Washington, D.C. I was sharing their apartment with 4 other girls, American girls. But in a moment, the dream I was, for so long desiring or looking to became a nightmare because I really didn't know how to communicate. My English was very little at the time. I couldn't pick up the phone, order my food. So suddenly I saw myself on this position that the language was a huge barrier, a huge barrier. And so many emotions came during this process. And I think because I understood that emotions play a big part in this moment when we are learning a language, when we're adapting to culture, and then I finally, through some processes, I could overcome, learn, master the language, and then work with English. That this is what I do nowadays. I, um, I feel my purpose in life, and this is what I try to follow. My purpose is to help other people that is nowadays in this situation, feeling like they cannot learn, or there is a barrier, or for some emotional reasons they cannot, go through. And there is a way. If you're listening to us now, you can do it.
That is very beautiful. I think sometimes there's different ways of learning. And I even notice with myself, sometimes I build up barriers about certain things. Because, I feel like, whatever, I don't like to do them. And because I don't like to do them, then, learning about them is very hard. But there are other things where, things flow so easily. They come, they come naturally. And I wondered about one thing, when you were talking about Roxette, I'm probably 10 years older than you are, from, the musical estimate that I'm making. But one of the things, I noticed when when my English got better, that as a teenager or even a younger person, we would always be surrounded by English speaking songs. My parents loved American music, and we had a lot of music in the house. But I would like sing along to songs, and then when my English got better, I would sometimes be like, oh my God, that's what they're saying. Not only embarrassed because of the fact that maybe, I wasn't right in the first place, but, even as I got older, that I understood now, some slang expressions, or, I suddenly thought, oh, you were singing along to like drug abuse. Fantastic. And what I wanted to say is, that this is something that I always felt was really easy for me. Learning English was something, it was naturally coming along because I met people when I was a very young person, like in fourth grade or something. I met my first English pen friend, and that was easy. But there are other things that I find, even now, I just find harder, and then my brain seems to go into brain freeze. So what would you say to someone who has, like, this, let's say, barrier or inhibition, or, feels like, oh, I'm not good with languages, or it's so hard for me to learn or to speak a language. What would you tell them?
Very, very important point, Angela. And I want you that are listening to us now to remember any point in your life that you try to learn something new, to any skill, maybe a language, maybe a painting course, anything like that. So there is in the beginning, right? We are all excited about this. Oh, I'm going to learn, and the opportunities I will unlock, or the art I will create, or the communication I will get, and that is like a very exciting feeling. Then, and this is very interesting because there is a psychologist, a Canadian professor also of social science, that is Albert Bandura. He studied this cycle that we go through when we are learning in
Yeah.
anything in life, right?
Yeah.
And we go through this, and it's a part of the process. So we are going to face challenges at some point. And this is very important that we know. And this is what I like to share with my mentees in the first session that we sit down and talk, because they are all excited about this course they're going to start and the opportunities they will unlock. But I go ahead and take them to the uncomfort zone, telling them, hey, in the future, we are going to face this point. It's the Bandura point. We are going to feel unmotivated at some point. You will feel that your effort is not enough, and you will feel like I'm wasting my time, or this is too hard, or this is, I'm not capable to do it. Our brain will do their best job to keep you in the comfort zone. This is what our brain is designed for, and it's going to work to save your energy, to
Yeah.
just keep you in the comfort zone.
Yeah.
So by anticipating this moment, we can create rituals, we can create small activities that will reinforce your resilience, that will reinforce the tools and the skills that you already have to overcome this moment. All of us, if you think you have overcome so many things in life, think for a moment, moments in life that you were low, maybe because economical reasons, maybe because a relationship, a broken heart, and how you were able to get out of this and to overcome and to start again. So by recalling these experiences and sometimes writing them down is very helpful. Like, okay, I faced this and this is how I overcome. I was able to reach this point and to conquer this. All these little actions and remembering the small victories will help us prepare for this low point in learning where we feel that we are not able to do it, or it's too hard, or it's not for us. And by knowing this and anticipating, the student gets information, gets power to go through this moment and finally get the fluency that is what they aim. So I think just preparing is very important. Knowing yourself is another part that is very important too.
Carolina, you're talking about something that we call homeostasis in coaching. And the fact that you just repeated that to me was totally helpful for what I experienced recently. So thank you. It was a mini coaching session for me. Thank you so much. One of the things, I always tell my clients is, when you experience this, like, you're going, this feeling that you're moving forward for 2 steps and then you fall back 1 step and then, you move forward again and then you fall back again and you're getting frustrated and you feel like, no, this is too hard. That is to move forward with smaller steps. Yeah. So, sometimes I tend to forget that, that sometimes then, we just need to make it a bit simpler for ourselves by breaking it down into something smaller, something we can digest, something we can work on. Maybe even, like listening to a podcast in that language will probably get you a little step closer, or, doing something small that will help you get more fluency in the language. Full immersion is obviously always a good idea. What about your journey? You're an entrepreneur yourself. Did you face any challenges? What was the hardest part about being an entrepreneur?
Oh, that's a good question. And this is one of the most challenging things that I chose to do in life. I work after I returned from the United States in my 20s. I returned to Uruguay and I joined an American company. I was working there initially in the help desk. Then I moved to the trainer position and then senior trainer. And I used to visit many countries, implementing projects and systems. And that was about 10 years that I did that. I came to the point that I needed to do something different. When you feel like, okay, it's time for a new thing, you feel it, your body's telling you you're not longer happy doing what you do, even though you know the job very well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Even you're competent and everybody thinks you're great at the job.
exactly. But I think it's a call,
Yeah.
of your self being to evolve in some way. Anyways, I had this feeling that I had to do something different. And I decided at that point that I was going to live in a beautiful country that I visited before, that I really like, that was New Zealand.
Oh,
So I decided I was going to resign my job, sell everything I had, and go live in New Zealand. And
awesome.
that was amazing country. I, travel all over, enjoy there. But do you know, Angela, when plans doesn't work as you imagine? So uh, I found myself not able to get a job or a visa because I didn't want to stay there illegally. I just wanted to work with a visa. So for 2 months, trying there to start, and I couldn't. And that was a very
Mm,
challenging point in my life.
mm,
And this is when I took the decision to, okay, where is a place I can go that makes me happy in this world? And I recall my childhood and vacations with my grandparents. They were Brazilian, and Brazil came to my mind. And this is when I decided to come to Brazil. Coming to Brazil, facing the reality that I am an English teacher, working in an English school, salaries here are really low for teachers. I think it's not only in Brazil, but teachers that should be, in my opinion, more recognized. That we play an important role,
mm.
and we are with kids and teenagers. And anyways, and I was in this point of my life that I was, oh my gosh, this is the end. Like, this is it. What have I done? And I think this is when I really um, encounter someone in my life that I highly recommend to you. If you feel in this moment that is the end, if you feel in this moment that there is no way and you cannot see, a way ahead, you need to find a mentor or a coach, someone that can see ahead of you, someone that can see your potential and guide you. Because for sure, each one of us, we have a purpose, we have skills that are unique and will contribute in our communities, in our countries, in our life with other people. So I found, Angela, in this moment, very low moment of my life, a coach that helped me and taught me how an English teacher could value their lessons and can connect with people globally. And I start to, be present in social media. That was something very, very new to me. I had to learn how to make posts, how to make videos. I'm a very reserved person,
Uh-huh.
so it was a big challenge.
I
And
didn't think you were reserved. So, since I met you like maybe 6 months back, I felt like you were very much there. You have strong presence and everything, but maybe you were reserved in the beginning.
yes, and what about for you? I see that you're very present too in many, many, and social media. Is it easy for you? Was easy for you?
Not always. I think I started this whole journey about 15, 16 years ago. I just had a
Mhm.
lot of fun, with Twitter and other things. It was more to relax, to be honest. It was more something, I did in my breaks.
Right.
And networking was also something I've always sort of done as a like in the professional world. So, it always came kind of naturally to me, but it was very different when I started my own firm. So, like networking when I was a professional and I had a title and I had a business card was a lot easier than when I started my business and then suddenly, you're like My company is called Global People Transitions. We're doing coaching, and everybody was like, yeah, so we have a lot of people do that. You know, this is a market full of coaching. You know, why do you think you're special? You know, it was not easy in the beginning at all. And now I have to tell you, I almost feel social media is a bit overwhelming for me.
Mhm.
I um, I much prefer one-on-one conversations, small group conversations, even going to networking events like physical events. I still like to do
Mhm.
that, but I much prefer smaller groups now than, like
Mhm.
being out there in this big sea of noise. And yeah, so I will ask my team to handle things going forward, so I don't have to be so, online so much. Because I'm already working online. You probably do the same, right? We're doing a lot of online sessions all the time, and then you're online on the media. It's
Exactly.
a lot of work, right?
It is. It
Yeah. So
is.
how did you overcome your shyness? What's the secret
Well,
sauce?
there's no other way. We have to face it. We have to push ourselves into jump into the water. That's it. And
Step
of
by step,
course,
right?
step by step, baby steps.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if anyone here today is considering doing this, start little.
Mm-hmm.
A little video that you record for yourself, and then you start with your live, and then little by little. And
Yeah.
I think what is very valuable of all this movement and all this opportunity and this time that we're living, like Angela, I wouldn't be here talking to you today and connecting with you if it wasn't for these amazing platforms that we have and
Absolutely.
this technology. So I think that the possibility that we can, share our message, and you never know who is listening, who can get a piece of what we talked today and maybe can be useful in their life. And this is what happened to me when I was, trying to find my way on my 40s. That is a very also, what in the market is like, oh, what are you going to do in your 40s? Nobody's going to hire you anymore. But there's always a way for you to start again. And I think finding the purpose and working with what we
Mm-hmm.
understand is our purpose is so important. We work for so many years in life, so many years in life. We need to find joy in what we do.
Yeah, I don't know if you know that I have this program called the Global Rock Stars, and there's a workbook that is associated with that program. And it's one of the major things that I discovered that people face in midlife. So one of the major transitions people go through, and that's honestly universal. It's not only here or in the Western world, it's a universal thing. So one of the things they go through is that they discover that, maybe that the way they were running their lives up to there is no longer fulfilling. Yeah. So exactly what you described, that feeling that suddenly you feel like I've grown out of these shoes, but also, something is lacking in my life, something is missing. And then it's usually about finding the purpose. It's usually about that. And then, when you decided or found that kind of reason, I always think, when you found the reason why you were brought into the world, it sounds very spiritual. But for me, this is exactly what it is. Your higher purpose is that. Why was I brought into the world? And when you found that, and when you then work in that space, work doesn't feel like work anymore.
Mhm.
You, it feels like you're you're like a channel or something. I don't know if I can say it like that, but like that's how
Yes,
it feels for me. And
exactly. And Angela, sorry, science proves that people that works like professionals that are in a company and they feel they have a purpose, they feel fulfilled by their jobs, their hearts are protected. There is less amount of heart attacks
mhm,
within people that live and feel they have a purpose, or some other diseases too. Now I don't remember, but science proves that people that can feel like they are fulfilled working and with a purpose, they are like kind of protected too.
Yeah, it's the alignment with your, you know, your deeper self, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've become very philosophical. I wanted to ask you, you know, if you had a tip for a younger version of yourself, or, you know, maybe a younger woman out there who's currently trying to find herself, what would you say?
That's very, very important. And first of all, I'll say that feel, this is very weird, okay, but I'm going to say this,
Hmm.
feel and recognize what your body is telling you.
Hmm.
I could identify what makes me more happy or more fulfilled in life by doing my activities when I feel my body telling me that. It's a, I don't know, a feeling of joy. It's a feeling of uh, wellness in the whole body. So try to be more attentive to that. We live in a world where we are bombarded by videos, people, you know, editing their lives, and we're looking to that and thinking that other people have perfect lives or perfect careers. This is all edited. It's not true. Like, okay, maybe they pick some parts of lives that are true, but most of what is real life for all of us is not going to be always a bed of roses. And even when we do what we love, there is hard work. Oh gosh, there is hours of preparing, studying, and
My life is a bed of roses. So,
of course, of
go ahead.
course. I love the roses. But look inside. This is what I will say, because inside of you is all what you need. And again, if you feel like lost, if you feel like, okay, right now you're not able to see a destination, a light at the end of the tunnel,
Mhm.
search for people that have already walked the way that you want to go and look for their advice, look for their, you know, support, get into a mentorship.
Yeah.
Angela, when I was, you know, lost and in this moment that I was so, you know, I was really sad. I put all my money in a mentorship program.
Mhm.
And this is what really was the game changer, because then I start seeing possibilities. Then I start seeing, okay, what is that I have on me that I can offer to people, and I can, you know, receive and be paid fairly for this, you know, because there are so many limiting beliefs that we have as human beings in all the areas, but especially teachers here in Brazil. Um, like we think we our classes we should give them for free, like, oh, you know, it should be very cheap. How can I charge a high amount for an English class? And this is a limiting belief, because language can open doors and can open so many possibilities, especially now that we're living in a connected world, in a global world.
Right. For our global mobility master course, what would you say do global mobility managers, HR professionals need to understand better? What could we add to the curriculum if you had a say?
Well, one of the things I recall from my years of working with managers, with, you know, leaders in the company, and of course, I had amazing mentors and leaders. Some of them not so much, but what I recall today is not exactly what were the goals, the numbers, or the things, you know, that we were working, but how that person made me feel, how that person made listen to me. And I think one thing we need to understand is that when we work in mobility, in companies, we're not working with numbers, we're working with people. You have a human being in front of you, and especially working with people from other countries. Like if you are a manager, if you are a recruiter, you're dealing with someone from another culture, from another point in the planet, this person is only going to connect with you and is going to do this when they trust you. And they will only trust you if they feel that you're not going to judge. So respect. We need to communicate with respect. We need to listen attentively and just have that in mind.
And that's a very tricky question here. I'm not sure if, you want to answer it.
Oh my gosh.
But what do you think? How do people know that they can trust you?
Mhm.
How do they know?
Mhm.
Sorry.
That's a good question, Angela. I think it goes beyond the things that we take as granted. Like, okay, this person has a title, has a good job, this person has a family, has a reputation. I think it goes far beyond that.
Yeah.
I think our brain is so sophisticated and so advanced that talking to someone in 5 seconds, your brain already determine, okay, this is a person I will trust, or this is a person I will connect or not. And this is what happens with adults, right? When we teach adults and when we talk with adults, not like kids, for example, if we're talking and I don't trust you, I will smile. I will pretend, that in general, right? Like, yes, I'm okay with this situation. So we really need to respect, I think, to connect with the person, consider the person that is in front of you so they can somehow feel that and trust you.
I think we need to do another session. Because now like I'm kind of intrigued to talk about this topic. But
There's so much.
yeah, there's a lot to unpack about this topic, because I think one of the cultural misconceptions that we have across the world is that people think that showing somebody respect is universal, and that's a misconception. And I think that's where a lot of misunderstandings happen.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
I think one good indicator of, for me, if I think I can trust someone, it's not that I think about it. It's not thinking. Sorry, it's the wrong word. Wrong word. But we're thinking a lot, talking about thinking. No, I actually feel it in my stomach.
Mhm.
And with people I trust, I realize I can be completely myself and I can totally relax.
Mhm.
And I think it's one of the strengths of Ed Cohen. Yeah, like on his call,
Yes.
I always feel like we can totally be ourselves. So that is for me an indicator. If I feel like, if I just feel like I can relax around the other person, like everything is like easy. And when I have my coaching sessions, I have my co-coach sometimes with me. It's a little dachshund. He's also an indicator. Like, if he is calm and he sits then with the client, then I know it's all good, everything's fine. But if the client is a little nervous, he will pick that up.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So kids and animals, they have somehow they still have this natural instinct,
Mhm.
but grown-ups often have lost it. And then, they make a judgment based maybe on totally on I would say superficial criteria sometimes. Like, oh, I didn't like the photo,
Mhm.
our world has become kind of superficial. Or, oh, it took too long for me to load the website. Yeah, like these kind of judgments. I don't know if you make the same experience.
Oh.
What have you got
Yes.
coming up, Carolina? What is the next thing on your agenda? Cool events? Tell us more.
Well, I'm very excited to announce that now in October, I'm opening new spots, limited spots for new mentees. So
Ah,
yeah, so if you have employees that need training with English, cultural intelligence, and also how to navigate within the mobility world, transitions and adapting to a new culture, I will be more than glad to schedule a conversation so we can, we usually do for the mentee in the first session this assessment so we can learn more about their personality, how they learn, how they don't learn. And I can then create a plan for them that we will follow through. And this is going to be helping us to follow the goals and to see the progress within. But in October, I'm opening these new spots. Remember that I'm located in Brazil, so take in consideration the time zone, so we don't have to wake in the middle of the night or anything like this to do your class.
and you do this online, right?
Yes,
So
it's
you can take
100%.
clients from everywhere if they can sort of fit it into their time zone schedule.
Absolutely. Just like we are talking right now, me in Brazil, you in Switzerland. Nowadays, I have students in 7 countries,
Mhm.
and there's always a way to work it out.
That's great. Fantastic. And we will link to your contact details in our show notes. We obviously always appreciate if people like and share our Red Couch Talks. Carolina, it was fantastic to have you here. I'm sure we're going to meet each other again very soon online and maybe at some stage also in person.
Oh, yes. I'm looking forward. Angela, it was a great opportunity. Thank you so much. And keep doing this amazing job you do. I'm a big fan.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye
You
bye.
too. Bye bye
Ciao.
now.